What was the mysterious gift Taehyung gave to Jungkook that made both of them emotional on Weverse Live? And why is all of ARMY talking about it right now? Watch until the end and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because what you're about to discover will change how you see their friendship forever. What really happened during Jungkook and Taehyung's latest Weverse Live that left millions of ARMYs in tears and the entire internet buzzing with questions? Why did Jungkook's expression suddenly change from playful laughter to pure emotion? And what exactly was the secret item that Taehyung quietly handed him? The one Jungkook later revealed on camera without saying a single word. The moment was so subtle, so loaded with meaning, that it felt like the world had stopped for every BTS fan watching it. He began like any other live broadcast. Jungkook sitting casually with his familiar warmth, Taehyung joining in, their dynamic instantly lighting up the atmosphere. The chat exploded within seconds, comments flying faster than anyone could read. Jungkook live! Is this really happening right now? OMG, they're together again. For many, it was a long-awaited moment. Both had been busy with solo projects, schedules, and international events. To see them together laughing again was enough to make any fan's heart race. But then something shifted. Midway through the live, after a round of teasing and laughter, Taehyung reached into his bag and pulled out a small box wrapped in elegant black paper. It wasn't flashy, but there was something deliberate, meaningful about the way he held it. Jungkook looked at him curiously, raising an eyebrow as if silently asking, "What's that?" Taehyung smiled, that small, secretive smile that only he could pull off, the kind that says more than words ever could. He handed it over quietly, and for a second, it seemed like just a playful gesture between close friends. But then Jungkook froze. The moment his fingers touched the gift, his expression softened. His eyes flickered, surprise, then something deeper. He unwrapped it slowly, carefully, almost reverently. Inside was something simple yet breathtaking. A silver bracelet, handcrafted with an engraving so tiny it was almost invisible to the camera. But when Jungkook tilted it slightly toward the light, eagle-eyed fans caught a glimpse. 7 always. The chat exploded instantly. Was this what everyone thought it was? A symbol of BTS, of their bond, of the 7 members who changed each other's lives forever? Or was it something even more personal, something only Jungkook and Taehyung understood? The mystery only deepened as Jungkook's voice trembled slightly when he finally spoke. "You remember this," he said softly, eyes fixed on the bracelet. "I didn't think you'd..." He stopped mid-sentence, his voice catching. Taehyung simply nodded, his smile warm, gentle, but filled with the kind of emotion that words couldn't contain. "Of course I remember," Taehyung replied quietly. "You said it back then that if we ever forgot who we were, this would remind us." The silence that followed was deafening. Even through the screen, fans could feel it, that unspoken understanding between two people who had grown up together, who had shared dreams, pain, and every stage of their lives under the spotlight. Jungkook slipped the bracelet onto his wrist, and his hand trembled slightly. "It fits perfectly," he said with a small smile, but his voice cracked, betraying the depth of his feelings. For a second, it seemed like he might cry. Taehyung reached out instinctively, his hand resting lightly on Jungkook's shoulder. No words were needed, and that silence was more powerful than anything they could have said. The comment section turned into a storm of emotion. ARMYs were crying, screaming, typing in all caps, "I'm sobbing. They're so pure. What does 7 always mean?" Theories began to flood social media within minutes. Was this a reference to BTS's 7 members? Or was it something private between Jungkook and Taehyung, something from the early days that no one else knew? And then Jungkook said something that made everyone's heart stop. "You know," he said, looking directly into the camera, "some gifts aren't just things you can buy. Sometimes it's a promise, one that doesn't fade even when time does." The way he said it, calm, sincere, with that unmistakable quiver of truth, made fans across the world stop what they were doing. Clips of that exact moment spread across every platform, from X to TikTok to YouTube. Edits appeared within hours, showing Jungkook's teary eyes, Taehyung's comforting smile, and the close-up shot of the bracelet glinting under the Weverse lighting. The hashtag Jungkook gift revealed trended worldwide within 20 minutes. But that wasn't the only surprise. Later, when fans rewatched the live and slowed down certain parts, they noticed something even more shocking. Inside the bracelet's inner band, there seemed to be another engraving, barely visible, VXJK. That discovery sent the fandom into chaos. Was it just a friendly gesture? Or something far more personal? Was Taehyung publicly expressing gratitude, affection, or something deeper? What made it even more mysterious was Jungkook's reaction afterward. He tried to move on, laughing it off, talking about other things, but his hand kept going back to the bracelet, tracing it absent-mindedly as though it grounded him. And then toward the end of the live, when Taehyung started playing soft background music, a familiar melody that fans quickly recognized as Still With You, Jungkook's own song, Jungkook looked at him in disbelief. "Hyung, you planned this?" he asked, half laughing, half crying. Taehyung grinned, but his voice was soft. "You said once that this song makes you feel like home. I wanted to give that back to you." At that moment, Jungkook's composure finally broke. He looked down, covering his face with one hand, visibly holding back tears. Fans watching live could feel the emotion radiating through the screen, not just between two friends, but between brothers who had weathered storms together, who had seen the best and worst of each other and still stood side by side. After the live ended, chaos took over online communities. Some fans theorized that the bracelet symbolized BTS's unbreakable bond as a 7-member group, especially now as the members are focusing on solo work and military service. Others believed it was a deeply personal exchange, a private message between Taehyung and Jungkook that somehow slipped into public view. And yet, amid all the speculation, one truth stood out: the moment was real. It wasn't scripted, it wasn't for show. It was raw, spontaneous, and full of the kind of emotion that no performance could fake. In the hours that followed, Taehyung posted a short message on Weverse. "Some things are better shown than said." Jungkook responded with a simple heart emoji and a photo of his wrist, the bracelet gleaming under soft studio light. That was all it took to send the fandom spiraling again. What was it about this gift that carried so much weight? Perhaps because for Jungkook and Taehyung, every gesture holds layers of history. They've known each other since their teenage years, from training days full of exhaustion and uncertainty to standing on the biggest stages in the world. They've laughed, fought, comforted, and inspired each other. The bracelet wasn't just metal and engraving. It was a symbol of everything they've been through together. Even Korean media outlets picked up the story, describing the moment as a rare glimpse into BTS's unspoken brotherhood. Fans translated clips, shared emotional edits, and filled comment sections with messages like, "They're not just idols, they're family," and "This is what real friendship looks like." As the night went on, armies began sharing their own bracelets, their own versions of 7 Always. Some wrote fan letters expressing how much BTS's unity had helped them through their own hardships. Others simply thanked Taehyung for reminding them that love, in any form, can be quiet, simple, and eternal. Days later, Jungkook was spotted wearing the same bracelet at the airport, casually tucked under his sleeve. Fans zoomed in on every frame, confirming it was indeed the same one from the Weverse live. When reporters asked about it, he just smiled and said, "It's special." And that's all it took. 2 words that reignited the fire in every fan's heart. So, what was really behind that gift? Was it a simple token of friendship? A hidden message to ARMY? Or perhaps something more? A reminder that even when the world changes, some bonds never will. No matter the interpretation, one thing is certain. That night, the world saw something rare. Genuine emotion, unfiltered and unguarded. Jungkook and Taehyung reminded everyone watching that love, in its purest form, doesn't need grand gestures or public declarations. Sometimes it's just a quiet moment between 2 souls who understand each other completely. And maybe that's why this moment continues to haunt fans, because it wasn't about fame or performance. It was about truth. So, what do you think the